Hey, Moondog here. We're at the range today to shoot Hazzbro's Hammer Time Challenge. And if you don't know Hazzbro, he's a YouTuber buddy of mine who has a reloading channel, and I'll include a link to his channel and the challenge in this video's description here. But as you can see here, you're supposed to shoot Mario's hammer and not hit Mario. Now, he's made this for a number of different calibers. I'm shooting the 22 target today. We're shooting at 50 yards. I'm going to start with zeroing out my scope and my rifle at 50 yards, and then we'll start shooting the target. As you can see, it gets progressively harder to hit your target and not hit Mario, and you get more points the more challenging target it is. So let's get started. I set up a shooting bench at 50 yards and started by zeroing out my scope for that distance. I'm shooting a CZ457, but this is a factory stock rifle. Nothing fancy here other than the Tractoric scope, which is a little bit bougie, but it's an excellent optic. But even with a 24 power optic that I'm shooting about 15-20 power, these targets are really small. For context, here's the target that I'm using to zero out the scope. Each of the squares in the grid is 1 MOA, or about 1 inch, but the actual target that I'm using for the challenge is the sheet above that. And what I'm aiming for is the hammer, which is less than half the size of Mario himself, and they get progressively smaller, to the point that the 2 coins that are on the bottom of the sheet there are the same diameter as a 22 caliber bullet itself. Alright, so I think we're zeroed out as well as we can be. This is not ideal conditions. It is super sunny and hot. I'm shooting in the sun, so I'm sweating like a pig. But you know, you make do. But one of the things you shouldn't have to make do with is your own personal cybersecurity, which is a good segue here for this episode's sponsor, Aura. Now, you'd be shocked at how much of your information is available online at these data brokers. I was shocked when I found out. But you can use this free link here, aura.com/moondog, to get a free trial, and you could find out where your data is, which data brokers have your information, and you can have it expunged. So use my free link, try them out, see how much you can get off of the web, and make yourself more secure. And by the way, Aura offers this service along with a plethora of other services, including fraud alerts, spam blockers, a VPN, all for a very reasonable monthly rate, which is why I use them. All right, so this is our setup here, if I didn't mention this. As you can see, it is not a proper shooting bench because we don't have proper shooting benches at 50 yards here, unfortunately. We have to use sawhorses. But I'm going to be shooting my CZ457 with a 419 rail and a Tractoric scope. All really good stuff. But I'm just shooting regular CCI standard velocity. None of that fancy, bougie match grade ammo for this test. But we're going to see how well we can get on that target using our setup here. So let's get started. So I'm actually trying to pull the trigger here, but nothing's happening. So my first thought is that I'd forgotten to eject the previous shell, but I could hear from the sound of that round ejecting that that was not an empty shell. So I'm trying again here, but nothing, the trigger won't go. So I'm going to eject the mag, and I'm just going to check the bolt and make sure everything's functioning properly, and that seemed like a perfectly fine round. And I pulled the trigger, and it did fire that time with an empty chamber. So all right, I'm going to put everything, I'm going to load everything back in, and hopefully whatever was wrong with the firing pin reset has fixed itself. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to look into this afterwards. Let's see if it'll fire this time. Okay, goody. Let's continue, hopefully. And with all that fussing around with the trigger and ejecting rounds, I've realized I've lost count. So I'm just checking to see if there are rounds in the magazine through the action. Checking the magazine again, and yeps, we're empty. So I'm going to switch out to my other magazine. And I notice that the firing pin indicator is not protruding from the back of the bolt, so I cycle the bolt again, and now it seems to have engaged. Looks like I really do need to look into this rifle and maybe clean out the bolt when I get home. Well, let me know how you think I did, and if you have any ideas about what was going on with my bolt and firing pin. Alright, let's make this rifle safe, call a cold range, and head down and take a look at that target. So starting with the top row, first shot was right on the money, right on the center of the hammer. The second shot was, just barely missed Mario's head. Hit the hat brim, but that doesn't count as a penalty. Next row, I hit the hammer, but I also hit the edge of Mario's hand, so that is a penalty. Second shot was, well, I missed both. And third shot on that second row, I hit the hammer, perfectly fine. Next row, the threes, I also hit the hammer and the brim of the hat, thankfully, just the brim of the hat. Second shot, again, a complete miss. Third shot was a hit on the hammer. And the smaller row at the bottom there, I hit the hammer square in the center. The second shot was a total flyer, total miss. The third shot hit the hammer and, unfortunately, the hand. And the two coin shots were both misses. Well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be winning this challenge, but maybe you can. If you're interested in taking part in Hasbro's Hammer Time Challenge, you'll find a link to his website in this video's description and also on my website at moondogindustries.com. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell buttons before you jump off to that next video. It just takes a second. It's absolutely free. They don't charge you to subscribe to my channel, but it really makes a big difference with the algorithm and helping other people find this video and my channel. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that and taking the time to watch this video. Moondog, out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.